Hey guys, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto Japan, and we're taking a look at a 1997 Toyota Aristo with the 2JZ engine in it. This one with 138,000 kilometers, and this one bought from auction here in Japan is going to be exported to Canada. So this one seems to be a really nice condition car. It was, 140,000 kilometers is usually on the higher side of the mileage, especially for here in Japan, and the condition of it looks to be in better shape than the mileage would say, and so I'm pretty happy with that. You'll find that the prices at the auctions for 140,000 kilometers, especially for this car, tend to go like this. So prices go down all of a sudden, and you can get a pretty good condition car. I find that the Aristo holds up well over time, very reliable. Of course, almost Supra's engine in it. So you get the 2JZ twin turbo, very nice engine. It is slightly different, slightly less sporty, and these only come with automatic transmission, although some people do the manual transmission swap, and they can be found at auction with a manual in them from time to time, but they do end up running quite a bit more for those ones. These automatic transmission ones, probably one of the best value for money vehicles that you can buy here in Japan, and absolutely love these vehicles. Okay, so the engine seems to be in great condition. 140,000 kilometers is just scratching the surface for an automatic. You can't really beat on an automatic in the same way that you can a manual, in terms of the engine at least. Or maybe you can, but you'd have to put a lot of effort into it. Aftermarket air filter for your extra power, and I'm not sure how much extra power that's putting out. The engine itself is already plenty powerful in this vehicle, and it is a mid-size sedan, but I find that they are more power than you need for the chassis. Okay, gonna lower the hood here. Did check the oil and the coolant. Oil looks like it needs to be changed. Coolant looks like hard to tell. It is the red coolant. It doesn't look bad. Hey, look at this. Timing belt was changed twice. So you got one in 2007 at 88,000 kilometers, one in 2013 at 120,000 kilometers. Very cool. Okay, lower the hood. Quick peek of the car, and then we'll go over the auction sheet. So if this is your first time watching one of these videos, the auction sheet is the information that you get from the auction to decide if you want to bid on the vehicle or not. And so the seller and the auction inspector will write their own notes about it. And so here we go. So it's 1997 Aristo V300 Vertex Edition. Now, Vertex Edition basically just means you get a badge here that says Vertex Edition on it. You get an insert here that has carbon fiber look on it, which is not on it anymore. And you get a rear spoiler, which is not on it anymore. And I'll just say this now because I'll probably forget about it. The trunk completely was replaced so that there are no holes from where the spoiler used to be. The trunk was replaced with one in worse condition than the rest of the body. And so we have some paint fade and some bad paint and some other things. Look, there's a burn mark from power polisher on that seam edge. So yeah. Anyways, getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let's go back to the auction inspection sheet here. This is a auction grade 3.5 with an interior grade B, 137,828 kilometers, automatic transmission. Now there is a shift yourself buttons on the steering wheel to make it a little bit less automatic-y, but you only get 3 gears for that. You don't get your full 4 gears for some reason. Sunroof. It's made out of glass. That's nice. Alloy wheels, power steering, power windows, leather, and airbags. Now it is an optional leather. I find the leather in this pretty nice, even though I'm not a huge fan of leather in cars. It brings it up more toward the 5 Series in terms of equipment. This is a better car than a 5 Series, I think. It's kind of in between a 5 Series and an M5. The M5, I think, would win over this, but the price difference is huge, and so it very well should. Seat heaters, JBL speakers, and you get lots of them. You can see one right there in the middle of the dashboard. Or maybe you can't. Or maybe you can. Okay, this is a no-claim car, it says. So if you have any problems, then it's wah, wah, wah. And not all the cars are like that, but when the cars get old, like this one is 20 years old now. So once the cars get to a certain age, they're going to be very not willing to allow claims on them for especially light things. So that's all what the seller wrote. Here's what the auction inspector wrote. So seat dirty, wrinkles and wear, steering wheel wear. Rear spoiler has been removed with a question mark. Wheel scratched. Aftermarket suspension lowered. Now I don't know what this means. Air C it says. Don't know, because it's not air suspension, it's coil suspension. And they're not coilovers, they're just a lowering spring. The suspension feels fine to me. Like, I did drive it just a little bit in and out of the lot, and you can feel how the suspension feels. It feels fine, so don't think it needs to be changed. Front and rear fender arches have been modified, and so that means that the car used to have bigger wheels. Right now on the car has the original wheels that came with it from factory. Obviously, they look too small on the car, because this car looks great with wheels that are 18s and above. Not too much, of course. A 22 would look pretty dumb. And modified arches means they bend in this section here. Some people call that rolling the fenders or pulling the fenders. Here in Japan, they call it bending the edges, or at least the auction inspector does. And so they have been bent in to allow you more clearance for a larger tire and wheel package in there, or more aggressive. You'll see that it's tucked way in there. It's kind of funny to think that's how they're supposed to look. I mean, it is lowered, but it always surprises me. Like, modern cars nowadays, they put the tires way out as far as they can because it looks better. But back then they didn't. Okay, where are we at here? Spare tire house and underside have scratches and dents. That's don't do that. Okay, various scratches and dents on it. U2 on the hood, and the hood has been replaced. I think the trunk has been replaced, but they didn't say so. They say W2 on it, which means paint marks. And various small scratches and dents, some U2, which is a medium dent on that fender that I just showed you. You may have seen the dent on it. It's really not that bad. A U2 on the side sill there, so that's a medium dent. Paint stains on the roof and a crack on the windshield. So these two I'm going to show you up close. Paint stain on the roof, and I cleared one off so you can see it. That's what a paint stain looks like. And typically, you cannot polish something like that out. What happens is a bird poops on your car, or sap falls on the car, and then the paint gets hot, and it gets hot in a different temperature than the paint around it, and has micro cracks in it that damage the paint. Okay, and then the windshield crack. Now, there's two very common notes on there. One of them says windshield rock chip, which is usually something very small. There isn't a, here's a windshield rock chip. That's what the chips look like. And this is what the cracks will often look like. It's very rare that they're bigger than this. Okay. The U2 on the hood is a reverse U2. It's right here where my hand is. And it's, can you see it? There you go. It's somebody leaving their wrench underneath the hood and then closing the hood. Okay, so that's enough of the boring stuff. Let's do a walk around of the car. So these look great in black. Cars always look good in black. Keep in mind you're going to be washing your car more frequently, because a black car only looks better than every other color as long as it's clean. And this car, especially with some nice wheels, is going to look fantastic. The body is quite good. Now, aside from the paint, just in terms of scratches and dents, I would give this one probably an 8 out of 10, which is pretty good after 20 years. The vehicle definitely doesn't look 20 years old. Hello, JDM tree. And so, this was the time when Toyota and Lexus made some of the world's best cars. Absolutely love this car, and the fact that you can get it with that twin turbo 2J is just it's the icing on the cake of an already excellent vehicle. Okay, so yellowish headlights. Front bumper's not bad. Now the car has a lot of places of very light scratches in it, and I'll show you on the other side here what I mean. Most of them will be able to be polished out. Here's an example of where some of them are. It kind of has a look of haziness, something that you may not be able to see in the video, but a good wax and polish, especially look in the light of the reflection here. Okay, really nice looking bright tail lights there, and stock dual exhaust, because when you have this engine, You need that dual exhaust. All right, we have some scratches on the hood. Probably that's the worst place where the scratches are, right in this section here. It looks like somebody liked to rest their bum on the hood, and it wasn't me. Okay, so the exterior of this car, great looking. The interior, probably even better. And this one has the better interior of the two. I should mention the peeling on the mirrors here. On both of the mirrors it's like that. Okay, so the two different interiors that you can get for this, one of them has a Navi screen in it. This one doesn't. And you really don't want the one with the Navi screen, because for one, it's a CRT touch screen, and it's very old school, very unresponsive. It's the kind where you touch it and it's like a third of a second to 3/4 of a second before anything happens, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're trying to flip through the menus, it can be pretty annoying. This one doesn't have that, but still has the options of the dual climate control AC, so you get your 2 zones. Seats are in great shape for the mileage. Usually you won't see seats this clean and this clear at 140,000 kilometers. You'll get a lot of wrinkles in this section here. See how it's a little bit color lost there? That's very mild compared to how much you'll typically get in these seats, or any leather seat for that matter. Okay, steering wheel does something cool when you take the key out. Watch this. Ooh, steering wheel moves out of the way. And then put the key in. Steering wheel moves back. Now you sadly don't get the memory seats, so you can't play the memory seat game with this one. And somebody is going to have a heart attack by that dinging. I know, every time I do that, I get to hear about it in the comments section. Oh, and we'll probably start the engine again just so that you can see what the gauges look like. Oh, which key is it? That's too many keys. There it is. And not the original key. Okay. So, Indiglo. Kind of funny. And this is the way that your center console looks. So you get the CD player. And sadly, look, I didn't even realize this because it's the first time I tried, but the iPhone charger doesn't work with the new size of the iPhones. So, sucks for that. 25 degrees, 25 degrees. Now I have a bit of a pet peeve of keeping these the same temperature in my car, because my car also has left and right different temperatures. And so whenever I see this one go like 23, then I'm like, are you cold, to my wife? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm so cold. And so I set mine the same, even if I'm too hot, because for some reason it bothers me having two different temperatures. Okay, the AC works, very nice and strong. Shifter there. Now if you want to do shift yourself, you can't do it down here like many cars can. You can only do it with the buttons. And so downshift here, and on the other side of this there's upshift. It works pretty good as far as automatic transmission ones go. It's about the same as most of them. But this engine is so great when it's in the right rev range that you want. And so it's very fun to use that. Okay, dashboard is in great shape. Has been smoked in, but doesn't smell bad. In fact, it smells quite nice inside the vehicle. Here's your heated seat buttons. You get some of that, and you get some of that. Okay, cigarette lighter adapter in there, and then there's another one in here, so you get two of them up at the front. This looks like it's barely been used. Okay, put my phone in my pocket. Show you the sunroof from the inside. Alright, this is how you open the back. Okay, folding mirrors. Yeah. I'm gonna get no dislikes on this video. Gonna remember it all. Always get those comments. Dude, you forgot to show me the trunk. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna go cry. That's not how I actually say it. But we only get one shot to shoot these videos. And so I shoot what I think about, and sometimes forget things like showing the trunk. But not this time. Okay. Nice big doors, easy to get in, and lots of space in the back. Love that. And I love the fake wood here. I know it sounds bad calling it fake wood, but the look of it is excellent. Love it a lot. Trunk is big, and nothing says high quality like laminate of a marble floor. So that's got to go. It's not even cut to the right size. Okay, but tons of room in here. Full-size spare tire in the bottom, and smells great inside the trunk. And I love it when the inside of their trunk smells great, because nobody ever cleans their car and tops it off by making their trunk smell great. The trunk's always forgotten about. And so if it's a good smelling trunk, it makes me happy. It's the little things that make a car great. Alright, so that's basically the end of this one. Sports sedan. I guess you could call it a sports sedan. Toyota Aristo, or Aristo as the Japanese people call it. And there you have it. So thanks a lot for watching, and have a nice day.